Welcome to the Embrace Strength podcast. I'm your host, Ashley Crocker. I am an experienced trainer and active life professional. I work with people who are struggling with nagging pain to get back to the activities they love without fear of re-injury. This podcast is here to educate and provide value to you on all things health, fitness, staying active, and personal development. Let's dive in. Hello. I hope that you had the most amazing holiday / are having the most amazing holiday. When this comes out, it'll be right after Christmas, before the new year. It'll be in that, about 5 days of time that feels like one big long day. Basically, it's kind of like a haze, I think, between right after Christmas, before New Year's. And so I hope you are enjoying that time. I wanted to put out an episode about a 2024 recap because a lot has happened for me this year. And I feel like it's really important to reflect and just kind of appreciate everything that has happened. And then, that helps you look to the next year for what needs to change, how you want to grow, things like that. So this is going to be more of a update and sharing type of episode and a little behind the scenes look. I myself always love behind the scenes looks, and so I figured I would put one out for myself. And so I have some bullet points I'm just going to kind of go through about my year. So to start off, last January, I started this podcast, which is so cool because the podcast was something I wanted to do for such a long time, and I put it off. And, this year I was like, I am starting this freaking podcast. I'm going to be consistent. And I am so glad that I did because I love the podcast. I love podcasting. And so that is a really big thing for me. That's high up on my list of I'm really glad that I did that this year. So yeah, started the podcast and we're 80 something episodes deep, I think. So that's just really cool. And another thing that happened this year was I transitioned into running my business full time. And I started my business in 2021, but this was the first year that this was basically all that I did for the majority of the year, which is really cool. And I think that a lot of people, when they are first starting their business, they think that they have to be you're all in or you're all out and all these things. And that's just not life. That's just not how things happen. Growing a business really takes time. And my business was something I did on the side for a couple of years. And I think that was what I needed to fully develop into who I need to be to show up in my business full time. I needed that. I needed that other, those other experiences that I had to be able to show up in who I want to be in my business. And so I just want to share that if you are newer with starting your business and you might feel bad or guilty that you have another job, I just want to share with you that don't, just don't. Having another job while you're building your business gives you the flexibility and the time to be able to really develop what you want instead of being one of those businesses that crashes and burns. And I've seen so many coaches do that over the past, I'll say since 2019. I feel 2019 was really the time people started to do the online business thing or online coaching thing. And so, but I've seen a lot of people have a rise and fall and they're not coaching anymore. And if you are someone who's in it for the long haul and slow and steady, that is the way to go so that you don't build something that you completely hate. So I feel that was really huge for me, to be able to be focused fully on my business for most of the year and just figuring out what I wanted. Because when I first started my business in 2021, I was working with people in pain, yes, but also I was still doing a lot of nutrition coaching, and I did want to move away from that. And over the past couple of years, as I've been mentoring coaches more, and I realized that mentoring coaches is a big part of my gift, and I wanted to bring that into my business, but I wasn't sure how I was going to do that. And I was at a retreat with my mentor last February, or I guess February of this year, February of 2024. And I remember just being like, you know, I feel like this is what I kind of want to start incorporating in my business, but I just don't know how. And, you know, like I just felt like I was really unsure and not like I just didn't have clarity, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And I can confidently say that in December of 2024, I have a lot of clarity. Like I've tried a lot of different things. I have a lot of clarity about who I'm meant to serve. I feel like I have my offer ecosystem set, which is basically like what type of offers do I have? Like how do they all thread together so things make sense and people can, you know, move through the offer suite. And so I really feel like it was like a foundation building year. And I also went through a business rebrand, which was also a big part of like an identity shift for me. And so that felt really good too, to just start to have like a visual representation of like how I want to portray myself online. And it might sound silly to those who are not in the online space or don't understand it, but the way that you can kind of think about your presence online is like a boutique. Okay, so people are like, pretend you're on like a cute little street, all right, in the downtown area, and there's like all these different little boutiques, right? And each ones are unique and different. But I bet there's like one store that you find that you're like, man, this store is like really my vibe. Like that is what your branding is online. Like, you know, people are going to your little visual boutique of like, you know, who is Ashley? Like, what does she do? Like, what's her vibe? Like, and they're either going to click with it or they don't. And so I really wanted my branding and my vibe to feel like me. And shout out to Lisa Scott who did all my branding. I feel like she crushed it. And I think that was also a big part of my year was the rebrand. So that also felt really good. This is the first year in my business I consistently had help and had a mentor. I work with Lacey Healy. I think she is one of the best humans ever. I think she's amazing. I've been in her mastermind all year, and it has been huge to have support throughout all the ups and downs of the year. And I will tell you that if you are trying to do your business alone, you are just like shooting yourself in the foot over and over and over again, because it is so hard. And how can you expect yourself to be able to build something that you have never done before and also run it? And there are so many ups and downs with being an entrepreneur. You're going to have at least one monthly breakdown and you're going to have times where you like become unsure about what you're doing. You're going to have times where you feel like no one is listening or the thing isn't working. You're going to launch things and no one signs up. You're going to launch things and one person signs up. Like, it is a bit of a mind fuck if I'm being honest. And if you don't have support, it can be so easy to slide right back into freeze and just be doing nothing. And then at the end of the year, just whining about how you didn't grow and you don't know why you're not growing. Meanwhile, you have like no fucking support. Like, come on. So that was huge for me. And the proof is in the pudding. Like, my business has nearly doubled in this year. And my November was 180% growth over the previous November. And if you're just looking at that from a number standpoint, like that is huge. Like that is so huge. And so, I mean, that's the type of growth you can expect when you are investing in help with your business and investing in becoming a better coach. Like that is the type of fast track growth. And like before this year, since 2021, honestly, my business has kind of stayed the same. Like, you know, plus or minus around 5 to 10K for the year. Like my first 3 years of my business was kind of roughly the same. But this year, it obviously shot up. And that was, you know, a big part of the change was like having support, having a freaking plan, you know. So anyways, there's that. And, kind of building off of that, that's also why I decided that I've already locked in my support for 2025 for the year. I made a year-long commitment. I'm going to another retreat with my mentor in January because I know how pivotal that was for me to start off my 2024. And I am committing a year long to upgrading support with my mentor because I am looking to blow up next year. And when you are looking for explosive growth, you have got to have more support or it will not happen because you are a human and you will probably self-sabotage. So anyways, I feel like that was also a really big thing for me. And another thing that was a big deal for me this year was my confidence. I decided to start showing up that I am the one. I am the perfect person to help my ideal client because I know that I am. And prior to that, I was having a lot of confidence issues, as a lot of coaches do. And I was really getting in my head about, am I really meant to do this? Am I really meant to run my own business? Can I really do this on my own? Can I make as much money as I need to? All these 500,000 questions, spinning myself in circles, exhausting myself. And it would just really mess with my mental space. And because of that, I wasn't taking action that I needed to be taking to see the growth that I wanted to see. So I told myself I would cut the bullshit this year and just start showing up like I am the one. I am the one. I have 10 years of coaching experience. I have 2 years of mentoring coaches, and I have literally coached thousands of clients. Why would I not be the one to help my ideal client? And the reason I'm sharing this with you is because there's a lot of you out there who are coaches and kind of waffling around, your whole business, and it's holding you back from growth. And your lack of confidence is why you're not growing. So that was also a really pivotal moment for me. Now, do I, 365, 24/7, feel like that? No. But it's kind of, we're humans. We kind of go in and out of this thing. But I wrote that on a Post-it note on my desk. So I would look at it every single day this year. I am the one. I am the one to help my ideal client. And I really think that confidence has been a huge upgrade for me this year too. And let's see. What else? So I think a final takeaway for you to kind of wrap up this 2024 recap is, if you are a coach listening to this and you might be in a space where you're doubting yourself, or you're struggling to keep clients, or you're struggling to grow like you want, or, insert whatever here, stop telling yourself that you can do this on your own. Make a decision that you are the one, and you are going to start acting like it, and you are going to invest in support, whatever that looks like, or save yourself the heartache and quit. I know that sounds really harsh, but it's the truth. And being an entrepreneur is really freaking hard, and you are going to cry a lot. And if you are not built for resilience, and if you cannot make a decision on getting yourself some support, then you are not going to last. So a little bit of tough love for you there, but I just really want more coaches to grow into the coach that they know that they are, they know they're meant to be, and to make a decision on when you think about yourself in 2 years, 5 years, what type of coach are you in that amount of time, right? So think about the future you, 2 to 5 years from now. What do you want? How does that version of yourself show up? And if you don't start making decisions today, right now, towards that future version of yourself, then it is not going to happen. So instead of waffling around a decision that like you're staying stuck in, just move forward and watch how much you can grow. So that is what I wanted to say today in my 2024 recap. I hope you enjoyed this. And next week, I'm going to have a 2025 looking ahead episode where I'm going to briefly touch on some things that I am looking ahead for in 2025. And I'm excited for it. So be on the lookout. Talk to you next time.